who watches this show and greatly enjoys it, I have to say sincerely. Oh, hold on. I have to hold in. There we go.
Now you're good.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you guys to eventually just completely beat the piss out of each other. That's what I'm waiting.
It's never gonna come to that. It's just never gonna come to that.
It's early in the show. Let me try to instigate a little bit.
No, it's all looks. It's all angry looks and negativity. That's all it is.
It's a lot of angry looks.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's really all.
That's mostly
down
what
to.
it is.
That's really
Like,
what it
come
comes
on,
down
I'm
to.
so
Look,
disappointed.
when we agree, the show doesn't work. This is what we've come down to.
No, the confrontation is good. It's good for radio. But I'm just waiting for him to stop being mellow and just absolutely flip out. Because you poke the bear. You do. I've seen it.
Finally.
But
finally,
no, it's true.
somebody sees it.
No, we all see it. I'm watching it, and I literally have a countdown clock in my studio, and I go, "Is this the day?"
I just love that you have a clock and you're
No,
listening to us.
I'm all right
comprise
now. I'm in a great mood now. I am in a fantastic mood right now.
That's what I do.
I am. Thank you so much.
So there is a tactic, and we will start talking about Spider-Man. We'll start talking about Ghostbusters. We will start talking TV preview, and we will start talking about Wailing Blade, which is the awesome new series that Joe is the artist on.
Thank you.
Okay.
But there is a strategy
what's
that
the
when you
strategy?
walk into a room, you find the meanest SOB you can, and you make friends with that guy.
That's true.
And
That's
Joe,
true.
Is
Joe
that what he
Mulvey
just did?
Just did that.
Am I the meanest son of a bee in the room? I don't
You're
think
a giant teddy bear. Off
all right.
the air. All right. Spider-Man Far From Home.
You're going to get punched on the air.
Awesome. Right, that's why we have Joe in between.
Yeah.
So it actually works out pretty good. Really cool 3-cam system. So if you're watching us on Facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire, go check us out. It's pretty great.
Technology, man.
Oh, boy.
Technology.
All right. Trailer drop. Now, Joe, you are a fan of the show. You've listened to a lot of stuff. You actually chimed in on our Captain Marvel trailer, Truth or Trash.
Yes.
Which we've done 3 of now because there's 3 trailers. I was always a fan of trailers that can make me want to go see the movie, and I feel like Captain Marvel didn't do that up until the 3rd trailer. I feel like Spider-Man Far From Home, for a movie that I am not excited about whatsoever, this trailer got me excited. All right?
I don't see how.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Mysterio. First of all, we're seeing new villains, which I love. I love that we're seeing new villains, right? Like, we don't need another Spider-Man movie.
Before you two get into that, like,
You're
I'd
not
like
a part
to
of this
say,
either?
huh? No.
Yeah,
You're talking directly to him, right? He's about to respond directly to you, right? There's going to be like a banter thing happen. Something serious is going to happen there. I don't want to interrupt that. So
and when we come back, we will figure out the semantics of radio.
I'm going to get a brick and throw it at you. I also noticed this with Mission Impossible, like the first Mission Impossible movie, which was 27 years
I was too young to see. I don't know.
27 years ago. Yeah, the first Mission Impossible movie was 27 years ago. All right. Anyway. But we're all right. We're okay. The goal was because of the late 90s, and we're still living in the afterglow of the late 90s, early 2000s, where the goal is like we're gonna take all these serialized like television shows and stuff like that, and we're gonna modernize everything. We're gonna make it contemporary. We're gonna make it now. We're gonna make it slick and sexy and hip, right? And we've been doing that for such a long period of time that the new is to make everything old. So. In the sense, if you watch the most recent, the Fallout Mission Impossible movie, it's very much like an episode of Mission Impossible, right down to the music cues. They have a lot of music cues that are tied in to the actual episodic nature of Mission Impossible, and that very same like phenomenon is happening with Mysterio because he looks like Mysterio. Like, they didn't modernize him at all. He looks exactly like the comic book. Now, that costume, conventional wisdom would say that costume would not work on 100 levels. But because we've come so far and we've just been there, done that, the only thing that we can do now, really, that's interesting, is make everything look as comic book as humanly possible. So we're back to episodic television for movies, and we're back to our 1960s costumes for all our villains.
But hold on one second. You have... Is this good? There we go.
Yeah, you're good.
You literally have the medium is good because it's just reinventing itself over and over and over again.
I never said it was bad. I'm not criticizing it.
I'm saying
just saying
specifically...
it's a phenomenon.
I am saying it's bad, and it is criticizing. Fight.
No, but I just mean, to me, I think it's going to be interesting.
Hand me my knife.
Butter. Only butter knife.
A knife is a knife.
I've been training for this day.
with a butter knife. So
yes, I have. Every day I have little kids. I just go, come at daddy. Just come at daddy. But what I really think is the cool thing about this is they're making it very much more, at least in the trailer, seem very heavily into comedy. So it's not taking itself so seriously, and I think the Mysterio costume plays into that lack of serious nature
I
versus like a
hope
Dark
not.
Knight or those other. I mean, even Aquaman looked like he was going to be dark.
I hope Jake Gyllenhaal is dressed as Mysterio, and I hope he's damn serious about it. I just think that would be great. Like if he's in the costume and they make fun of him through the entire movie that he's in a stupid costume, it's kind of a cop out. I kind of look at it as like a cop out. Because the trick is, can we get these guys to look like these comic book, like especially the Sinister Six? There's a bunch of goofy looking guys.
Well, the Rhino would be. I mean, if you really look at the original outfit,
there are a bunch
for the
of
Rhino,
goofy. If you can make that work,
the Vulture.
Yeah.
Craven would be the best. Craven should be in.
You love
all
Craven.
I love Craven.
That's your all-time favorite.
But let's just all say this: does no one else see what's going on with the trailer?
I see what's going on with your hat. I like that.
Do you like it? I'm very Brooklyn. I'm very Brooklyn. Thank you very much. I literally just got in here so quick. I forgot I still had it on.
It's a whole new look for you.
I'm Hare Krishna. You know what I mean? I do things. So I mean, it looks to me by the looks of the trailer that Mysterio is trying to make himself look like a hero, right? He's doing all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the end, he's going to be found out, and then all this other stuff's going to go on.
It's the funny thing because someone commented on Twitter, and they're like, "This is another trap that these people are setting, putting multiple villains because there's now Sandman and Molten Man and Hydro Man and Mysterio all in the same movie." And I looked at that after watching the trailer. I'm like, nah, bro, those are all fake.
Those are
clearly all fake.
Either that or none of them are worth their own film. You know, like you're not going to be able to milk. Like they tried that kind of.
No. But it looks like it's all part of that one scene where Mysterio's there, and considering how far away we are from the movie, I have a sneaky suspicion that one scene is really they have really ready to show for any of the villains.
I still think it looked good. It looked exciting. It looked different. It's in England. I don't know why that's exciting, but it is. Like, it's at least in a different setting. It's not New York again. And they're bringing in Nick Fury to kind of bust him and make him a little bit more serious.
I'm just thrilled. So the three things that you might have missed are the Easter eggs. Having Nick Fury in there, I think is it's not really an Easter egg, but it's a change of pace for Spider-Man. We don't need another, like, as great as Tom Holland was as Spider-Man and as happy as I was to have him in Infinity War, I don't need another Spider-Man movie. I really don't. Like, what do we have, like 7 of them now? This... putting a different spin on it, putting him in Europe, putting him, having kind of like MJ, be a little bit more prevalent. I think in this one is kind of cool. And then just in general, just using
because she wasn't even in the last one.
I know.
Like, really.
I know.
She was a gag. She was a sight.
She was.
Am I the only one who'd be excited if this said National Lampoon's Spider-Man Homecoming? Like, this feels to me like it has heavy. If Chevy Chase is in here, I'm in. I'm gonna buy like. I'm gonna make it beat Titanic or Avatar. I'm just gonna keep going to the movies. That's it. Not so soon. Don't turn on me so soon.
No. I'm not turning on you.
Right.
I just disagree
Compliment
with you.
his glasses.
All right, they are nice glasses.
Yeah.
Well,
there you go.
They're actually my eyes. Nobody knows that part. But
you're on acid.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Great. That's awesome.
No, but that's what I liked about this though is that they're finally just giving us something different. Like I mean, even Homecoming in itself was a little bit different, but it was still like Spider-Man. I'm like, all right, it's Spider-Man, and it was a great movie. It was a great film. I'm not like upset about the film, but just the redundancy of the character. So now at least we've got something. That we can look at and go, you know what? This is a little bit different. This is enough different. Now, mind you, I'm just thinking about the joke in the boardroom in Hollywood, and they're all just gathered around, and be like, we need to change everything. Change it from red to brown. Genius! You've done it.
We could make them bigger.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is we know
You've done
that
it again.
Twitter doesn't matter, right? Twitter's shown Aquaman. This is going to be the biggest piece of garbage ever, and it's the biggest DC movie that they've made.
Yeah.
All these Wonder Woman. How good is Wonder Woman going to be? It comes out. I think that they've just shown that all that does is use PR, right?
Yeah.
That's just PR. People can hate it, they can love it, they can do whatever they want, but it gets people talking about the property. And at the very least, it's not like people don't know what it is when it comes out.
Except for Solo, it didn't work for Solo. Like all the tricks didn't work for that movie for some reason.
Yeah.
And theoretically, maybe it was just because it was too close to the last movie that came out.
Yeah. Which we will get
because
into.
Everything else, well, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but everything else, like the conventional wisdom said that, oh, this is going to be terrible, and it wasn't. as you just said. So when everybody said that the Solo was going to be terrible, and it comes out and it did terribly. It's like that's the only time the conventionalism seemed right about it. So
yeah, so we have a couple
outlier.
Couple quick comments too. Philip Buthorn on YouTube said, "Remember Fury's connection to Peter's parents in the Ultimate Universe?" And I always consider these films, like all the Marvel films, to be like the Ultimate Universe, right? Because you're basically kind of starting from scratch, but you're doing it in a modern setting.
Right.
So there's a really great possibility that maybe they do introduce some sort of aspect, which was kind of teased in the original Andrew Garfield films, but was never obviously seen to fruition because they were terrible films. Dan Lawson also chimed in, is it Hydra Man and Sandman, or are they elementals? Because we saw a fire one and an air one in there, too. I say either way, it doesn't matter, right? I mean,
it doesn't matter.
They're fake either way.
If they were in there, they would have introduced them in a heavier way. Like
or they will. Or they will in the next trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll know more.
So what's, real quick before we go to commercial, what is your 30-second guess on the plot line for Mysterio? Beside that, he set it up and... is he go a little deeper, Hassan? Give me 30 seconds. What's a little deeper?
A little deeper than what? Than
the
fact that
the
he's
potential
faking it
plot
all?
line. Yeah. Why is he faking it?
Because I don't know.
What's the heist? Is there
I
a
have
heist?
no idea because I don't know Mysterio.
Is he going to knock off the lure?
When I was a kid, I hated Mysterio.
Did you really?
Yes.
I thought he looked ridiculous, but
it's
I
the
liked
fishbowl. It's
I
the
didn't.
fishbowl.
No,
yeah.
I was creeped out as a kid by the eyes on his lapels.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice those until I had to draw them once. I was like,
when I was a kid, I was like, those eyes are staring at me. And I used to watch not the Hanna-Barbera, but the shows.
Spiderman and His Amazing
yeah,
Friends?
No. The TV show, the other TV,
Dallas.
Yeah. No. you're now we're enemies.
Now
All
we're
right.
enemies.
I'll win you back. I do this with my wife on a daily basis. I'll win you back. I know how it goes.
All right, when we come back, I'll tell you what Mysterio was all about, and then we're going to jet into the best TV shows coming out in 2019. Basically four.
Hi everyone, my name is Michael Dolce, creator of The Sire from Mike Books. The Sire is about a superhero forced by his own costume to fight evil. It's like having a spider sense, but instead of warning him of danger, it actually puts him in danger. It was first launched back in 2006 through After Hours Press, and was met with tremendous success. 6 issues and a trade paperback later, I thought The Sire's journey had reached a good stopping point. But a funny thing happened. As I continued working in comics, writing for Zenescope, and co-creating Descendant for Image Comics, fans would meet me at conventions and continually ask when the next issue was coming out. Apparently, The Sire was far from done.
And that's why I'm proud to welcome you to this Kickstarter, celebrating the Volume 2 trade paperback for The Sire. Collecting issues 7 through 10 and featuring an amazing...
We're going to keep it superficial.
Just the brass tacks.
We are
of the
very
situation.
superficial people
Yes.
in general,
Well.
so we're going to stick to... Well, I'm a very superficial person.
Yeah, I'm all right.
I'm a book... Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We talk comics, movies, TV, and pop culture live every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. And then we are streamed live on YouTube, Facebook. We're on every podcasting station network that you can think of. We're going to be added to Roku pretty soon, which is pretty awesome. I got an Apple TV for Christmas, and I got to watch myself on the big screen. It's
very
pretty,
nice.
pretty narcissistically awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It's pretty cool. All right, we were talking Spider-Man Far From Home. Real quick, the last wrap of Mysterio. Hassan, you had mentioned you don't know Mysterio's deal.
Yeah, when I was
As an expert, you're supposed to know everything about everything.
Marvel
Very
Superheroes
disappointing.
was the
Very
cartoon I
disappointing.
was talking about, basically.
Ah.
Right? So, and I just, I did my due diligence and I looked it up while we were in the commercial break, and
I like that. I like
Not gonna happen.
so his
But you know, Mysterio creeped me out, so I never really got into it. I liked the Shocker. That was my
Shocker was cool.
He was my favorite.
I liked Prowler too, so I liked Into the
Prowler.
Spider-Verse. We got a lot of
I
Prowler
did not
stuff,
like the
which was pretty
Vulture.
cool.
I didn't like. I liked the Rhino. I did not like Doc Ock.
Mysterio was
ironically,
Mysterio was all about recognition. You know, that was his primary motivation. So to me, I don't think he's there to rob something. I don't think he's there to rob the Louvre. Or, is it the Louvre?
That's how you spell. Yes, that's how you correct. Yeah.
the Louvre.
The Louvre.
The
yeah.
Louvre.
The
The
Louvre.
Louvre.
Yeah. That's my French accent.
Bless you.
Apparently, yeah. No, you know, and so
You see this, right? Everyone sees what I'm doing.
ironically, my hand's in front of the camera when I do that. So it makes perfect sense. But no, he's there to throw his hat in the ring as the greatest hero of all time or the greatest special effects man. I think they're gonna keep it pretty close to the.
Good for him. Good for
It
Mysterio.
but it works for a
Good
movie.
for Jake Gyllenhaal. That's a kind of ironic trivia for Jake Gyllenhaal to be Mysterio in a Spider-Man movie anyway, right?
Brian Everham said, unless they pull an Iron Man 3, it's Mysterio using illusions to create those. Oh, yeah, we got through this, Brian. I
Yeah,
thought you were
Brian,
saying something
being
good.
real slow. What's the trivia, though, that I just mentioned?
Oh, you were just saying it. That's the trivia. I heard that.
What's the trivia about it?
What's the trivia about Mysterio?
No, about Jake Gyllenhaal being in the Spider-Man, being Mysterio in the Spider-Man
Oh, he was
movie.
supposed to be Spider-Man.
No, he was going to. He was going
gonna
to
take over-
replace
he was gonna take over Tobey Maguire.
when he was complaining about his back being broken.
Correct. And they used that plot line in Entourage to replace Vincent Chase in Aquaman 2.
I'm learning a lot. I'm not
Jake
gonna lie. I'm learning a lot
Gyllenhaal-
while I'm here.
Jake Gyllenhaal was Aquaman in Aquaman 2 in Entourage.
Wow.
That is
Wow.
true. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
See? All right, see? That's a 6 degrees
Full
of
circle.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Full circle.
Brian Abraham, I am disappointed in you that I cut away from Hassan.
I'm always disappointed in him.
But we love that you love the show, so keep watching the show.
I'm not.
Love the
Brian.
prequels,
I'm not.
Brian. Love the prequels.
He's got nothing. All right, TV preview, which is on right now. So Joe, first of all, tell us a little bit of Wailing Blade. I want to hear a little bit about Wailing Blade.
I'm gonna give you the quick.
Give your cred. Yeah, it's
the
all
quick
about
pitch.
quick.
The
Yeah.
quick pitch is it's pretty much the post-apocalyptic. The world is like 1,000 years in the future, and we've, as a human race, done amazing things. But then, just like all things with the human race, we ruin it, and then we kind of leave the world asunder. And there's these 7 weapons that are left amongst the planet that one mad evil tyrant takes control of, and he pretty much sends his policing force out to take care of the world, and all the people that are guilty of doing anything against him, he sends them out to kill them. And as you can see on the cover of the book, the head taker has the Wailing Blade, and the Wailing Blade is the most powerful of all these weapons. And in our story, Tychon is a bandit prince whose dad gets caught and gets sentenced to death by the head taker, and he has to grab his gang and go after them and try to stop them if he can.
If he can. All right, I love it. I love the ability to pitch on the fly as well too, which is a great thing. We're showing some artwork right now up there. I apologize for the technical delay on that. It's through Comics Tribe, which is pretty awesome.
Yes, it is.
In stores now?
No. There's a Kickstarter now for the book, and you're gonna get all the different variants, and there's a ton of swag that's on the site right now. And it'll be in comic shops, I believe, in May. It'll be in May. So it'll run through the summer. It's a Comic Tribe summer event for this year. I don't know what other companies are running. This is better than it. I don't want to say anything. But
you don't know what Sire Studios is up to. Oh,
that's true. I don't. You're right. You're right.
Not
That's true.
much of anything.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
There could be a
Should've told
crossover.
him.
We don't even know. All of a sudden,
You heard it here
all of a
first.
sudden,
You heard it here first.
Give all our secrets away.
Actually, I was just in the car. Literally came up with the greatest comic book. We're gonna talk about it.
All right, I like
at
this.
the bar later.
Yeah, when no one else is around. We're gonna tease it now and then talk about it when no one else is around.
I don't want people stealing it yet. I mean, it isn't even an idea yet.
I know, but I
It
mean,
isn't even,
just
like,
saying,
in fruition.
just saying it so that they could hear a little piece of it is just mean. It's
All right,
cruel.
so now that you got some street cred, you can help us dive into the 2019 TV preview. Okay, we got Chris Arrant from Newsarama coming on next segment to talk comics with all 3 of us, which is going to be pretty awesome because we're all comic book nerds when it all comes down to it. I basically boiled down 2019 TV shows into 3 shows, maybe 4. Game of Thrones, right?
There's gonna be more than that.
No. I think
say?
just these 4. Stranger Things, which is coming out in July, which I think is going to be obviously a huge event, right, for everybody.
All right.
And then we got 2 dropping this weekend. We got Punisher Season 2, which almost...
Meh.
Can I say that he's probably become one of if not the favorite comic book character of mine that actually translated well to a show as well too. But it feels like it's a the air's been let out of the balloon because we know it's going to drop on Friday and it's going to be canceled on Monday, right? Right? And then we got Star Trek Discovery, which is dropping this weekend as well on CBS All Access, which means no one can watch it.
Yeah, that's the horrible idea. So True Detective's not in this at all?
I'll
Should
throw
be.
True Detective in there.
Should be.
I'll
True
throw
Detective
in there.
should be.
Because
how is that?
the first 2 episodes of that were
Return to form.
Freaking
how is
phenomenal.
Yes, they were.
It's on my DVR, but how is that comic book related though? True Detective.
it's
First of all,
pop
it's
culture.
Yeah.
Pop culture.
Yeah,
And it's an anthology
it's
series.
Anthology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, work it
Are
in.
you
See
guys?
this?
Are you guys like
Waldorf and Stedler for the new generation.
DeVito, Schwarzenegger?
Why do I always got to be DeVito when everybody's set up? Just once. Can't this neck get me a comparison to Schwarzenegger? Damn it to hell.
Oh man, I was gonna put in Spin the Racks tonight that what's his face, Chris Pratt got engaged.
Chill
to,
out, bird boy.
the Schwarzenegger.
I can't wait for
star.
Spinning the Racks. I'm hoping it's going to
Girly
be live
man.
tonight. That's my favorite song.
Leave me alone, girly man.
You know, I had been teasing that as a ringtone for a long time too. We're gonna deliver. Trust me. Sire Studios,
it's
big
never
stuff
gonna
going on.
happen.
All right, so out of those,
Out of those,
5.
Out of those.
what's at the top of your DVR list? What's the must watch?
Out of the okay.
Like if
with
they all came
Game
out
of
at the same
you
time.
got Game of Thrones, Stranger
that's gonna be
Things,
Punisher,
Punisher,
Star Trek Discovery.
Star Trek Discovery, and
We'll throw True Detective in. Look,
True
this
Detective.
is
Well, True Detective already happened, and I already watched that.
I
So
know.
technically, that's got to be at the top. But I mean, as the top of the remaining 4 that are coming out.
By the way, Brian Abraham redeemed himself.
Hold on
Say
now.
that in a second.
Are you just saying which one do we want to see most?
Yeah.
Which gets
Okay.
top spot?
Like if they all dropped tomorrow,
Oh,
what's
what
the
would you
one?
watch first?
What's the one you have to see?
Stranger Things.
Really? Okay.
No, Game of Thrones.
Oh, God,
Game
it's
of
gotta
Thrones.
be
Goes without
right.
saying.
Like, is that basically
Game of Thrones is a
2019?
universe has 7 days left to die. That's
I
all.
know.
There's 7 hours
I
left, and then it's
know.
all over.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm not in a rush to get in there because I'm
Really?
kind of concerned about how they're gonna wrap that
Oh,
monster up.
so you're concerned. Okay.
I am a reader of the
gotcha.
books. I read the
gotcha.
books before the show even came
That's
out.
the problem. You
gotcha.
can't read
All
those
right.
books. You gotta just do like me. Just go right into the TV.
You mean you
series.
can't read those books?
You don't want to read those. Why are they like this big? I use them if I have to like meet a height requirement.
Oh, you got cut off. See, that's right. Because Snark, you don't deserve it.
That's true.
And that's
Okay.
what happened. You just.
You're
shut
right.
it.
I did
I
it.
read the book before before I even knew there was going to be a TV show. So there's no way I could have been like hindsight, not read book. Sorry, it doesn't work that way.
So you know what I do
It
actually
doesn't work
with
that way.
Walking Dead? I watch the
Nobody
show,
cares.
and then
what
I go
you
back
do
and watch the graphic
or
novel.
about Walking Dead.
No, but I'm just saying I actually
Nobody
do it
even
as I'm
brought
watching
up
the show.
Walking Dead.
I'm
You
using
read the
it as
you read
a
the book.
comparison. Yes.
How do you read the book while watching the show?
I
That's-
watch the show first,
But
and
how
then
do
I
you, like-
catch up with the trade paperbacks.
But they've diverged, right? It's diverged. The show.
Walking
You
Dead.
know what's funny though?
Walking Dead has pictures. That's easier.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is like a 1,000-page book.
My wife can like read that in like a, I don't know, like a
So
week.
can I, but I mean, obviously, he was complaining about it. He was upset.
I'm saying that's like
was
I'll say right now.
I think-
I never read the book, so to me the
I think
show.
Hatless Joe can't read it, but Hat Joe,
no, Hat
I
Joe
think
can
he
do a
can
lot.
do it.
You'd be surprised.
I think
Joe.
he can do
Yeah.
it. I think
All
he
right,
can do it.
okay.
Hipster
I just
Hat
lifted
Joe.
a Buick on the way
I
in
get
here just
it.
because I had
Break one of those books out. We're gonna see it right here now.
I'll tear it right in half. All I know is when someone told me they're like, "Oh, you saw the show? You watching it? Have you seen the Red Murder? Have they gotten to the Red Wedding, whatever it is?"
Red Wedding,
And
yeah.
I'm like, "The Red Wedding? What the heck's the Red Wedding?" And then I saw the Red Wedding, and I'm like, "God."
Imagine reading that like 6 years ago, like without
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, no, I get it, but I mean, to me, I just think that show is bar none the top of the list of
Yeah.
every.
I agree with you.
But you didn't.
And however, no, I did.
You
I
said
am.
Stranger
You see how
Things.
you see how that works, right?
It's true.
I am.
You're manipulative.
I said.
You are.
I said. I'm worried.
Okay.
I'm not rushing into this last season because I'm worried. I did not like that teaser. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I thought it was
agree.
very pandery.
I agree.
Yeah.
and
we'll
it was
trash
very
it.
yeah.
I'll
it was-
trash the
it was-
teaser.
It was,
But that's the
schlocky.
beauty of Game of Thrones, right? Like at this point, I do not even need to see a teaser.
Look,
want to go see.
everybody's gonna be there.
Right.
Everyone's gonna watch. It's like when you were talking about Spider-Man. You were like, "Well, did that just make you want to watch the movie?" It's a foregone conclusion. I'm gonna see that movie. So watching a trailer doesn't help me decide whether I'm
TV's a
going
different
to
animal
or
than
not
movies,
to.
though, too. I think, right?
Yeah, but no,
because
but
TV
I mean,
is accessible.
TV's even less of a monster because of course you're gonna watch it because you're gonna be at home. You could do it in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to go out to find it like you would Spider-Man or whatever. Right. So of course I'm going to see it. I read the books and I've been watching that show since episode 1, day 1, all the way back in 2011 is when it started. So of course I'm going to see it. I'm just apprehensive about it. And therefore, I'm probably going to ease in there instead of just going, because look at the last season.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of great stuff that happened last season. But I don't know why everybody could teleport all of a sudden.
Sure.
And that's,
sure, there was definitely some
and there's a lot of
creative
stuff as a storyteller, and you know this, and you know this for a fact. There's a lot of ways they could have creatively explained their way around a lot of the stuff that happened.
Isn't that what we're always just asking for? Like if you can just establish some sort of rule.
Yeah, just explain us out of
and
this.
It doesn't have to be long. It could just be like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. Now all of a sudden my magic works faster.
But here's one thing about criticism, right? And this goes to, like, I feel like when I watch this at home, I'm talking to you guys anyway, so I feel like we've argued many times.
Well, now you can actually talk to us.
Well, don't you think that you give a little bit of leeway to see if they can really bring it home? Like, isn't there like a little bit of suspension? They've done a lot. That's what I'm saying.
They've earned.
Oh, that's not fair. Because that's the argument I've had with you for the last 2 weeks about all these Marvel movies that coming out that you say you have absolutely no interest in. So
when
don't even pull
come
this bull.
back,
yeah, all right. That's
and
what I thought.
we'll continue this with
Another victory,
Chris
Godwin.
Arrant from Newsarama.
Godwin advantage. Godwin.
I'm gonna walk around the next time and literally be like a ring girl and be like round Godwin.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Hi, everyone. This is Michael Dolce, host of the Secrets of the Sire radio show and podcast, and welcome to our Patreon launch event. To date, we've interviewed actor Kevin Bacon and rocker Chris Cornell. We spent a wacky week with the Real Housewife and played Love It or Shove It with a comic book icon. We've debated which TV shows everyone should be watching and channeled our inner force comparing Rogue One to The Force Awakens. And that's just the beginning. Become an executive producer and get an exclusive feed inside our studio before and while we air. Become a program director and receive our exclusive show outline, insider details on topics and guests hours before we go live. Or just be a fan. And for $25 a broadcast, we'll sing your praises on the interwebs every week. So if you like pop culture, movies, TV shows, and graphic novels, this is the Patreon page for you. Join us Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, Secrets of the Sire.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture, all the stuff that you love, and we do it right here.
Stuff that makes the girls run away.
Oh, well, clearly. No. That is completely false.
Stuff that makes the girls
That
leave.
is completely
I recommended
false.
Secrets of the Sire on my show, and I got less female listeners.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc, and streaming live on facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire and youtube.com/Secrets of the Sire. Take a moment, please go and subscribe to us on YouTube. It would be great. We actually got a little boost recently, which is awesome. We want to keep that momentum going in favor for us, because we're all about us, and that's really what it's all about.
It's the Just Us League.
I love
superhero.
everyone out there, and I really appreciate everyone's support. No, we really do appreciate everyone who listens. All right, we were doing TV preview with Joe Mulvey But we're gonna add in a little TV preview with Chris Arrant from Newsarama, one of the head guys over there. Mr. Chris Arrant, how are you doing, sir?
Hey guys, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
We are excited to have you on. All right, we're gonna segue into the comics world because this is wrapping up our 2019 previews, which is awesome.
It doesn't work when you say you're going to segue into it, though. You gotta just segue.
Oh, I just got to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
But what we want to know from you, sir, is what do you think if you had to pick one of the 5 series we mentioned on TV? What's the must watch out of those 5? Like top of the line.
I don't know. I'm kind of interested in the Punisher, a second season, but it's more for the meta of like how Marvel deals with the Netflix connection. That's kind of like the big story for me. That's the one that really jumps out to me. There's also a comic series coming to Netflix called Cannon Busters that I'm interested in. That's kind of like under the radar, but I think that's going to be pretty big.
Wow, so he actually did research for the show, and I completely failed.
The problem to me is like with the Punisher, I do like the Punisher series, but I feel like it's like a restaurant that already like you love its menu, and then you're like it's closing at the end of the month.
Yeah,
because Disney's wiping everything off of Netflix.
I know,
or I should say the opposite, but Netflix is kicking everything off. So
I know.
It's like I don't want to get invested.
It's a wet blanket.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. It was like one of the Marvel series that I had to watch, so I definitely would put that up there. But the correct answer was Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. All right, we're going to do a little comics preview. Joe Mulvey is a comic artist extraordinaire. Hassan is also a comics artist extraordinaire. I write comics extraordinarily well, draw them so. So we got 3 comic book guys, and we've got an amazing comic book editor. So, Chris, give us the big comic books that we need to be into, that everyone should be banging down their door to get to in 2019.
Okay. There's 2019 is going to be a pretty great year. There's a lot of diverse comics coming out, but arguably kind of the one that people, by and large, will be trying to chase down is at the end of March. There'll be the 1,000th issue of Detective Comics. Last year, DC did the 1,000th issue of Action Comics, and it was recently revealed to be the #1 selling comic book in comic book stores for the entire year of 2018. And I don't I can argue if you want, but I think Batman's probably a little bit bigger than Superman. So I think with Detective Comics coming on at the end of March, I think this could be even bigger than that.
Chris, can I ask a question? How much did it sell?
They don't officially release those figures.
No.
Oh, okay.
But there's some.
I'm sure Comic-Con has
out there that's over 100,000 copies, maybe 200,000 copies. The thing is, they sold it as a single issue, and then they also sold a hardcover that came out the same time. That was kind of a historical look back, and then they collected it in trade. But it's hard to really nail down specific figures in comic book sales. That's the thing that I've been chasing for over a decade, trying to get.
It's the white whale.
Sales,
real numbers and digital numbers. It's just the white whale.
Digital numbers you're never going to get.
No,
just never. It's impossible.
But
it's
they claim the digital numbers offset a lot of the.
I believe
supposed bad sales of or potential bad sales.
Yeah, that's 100% true. I know guys that like their print sales
but I mean
bad,
without numbers,
their digital sales boost them up.
I believe it, but without numbers, you can't verify anything.
Yeah.
And they do that on purpose.
That's why I stand right now in front of you saying I'm the most downloaded comic on Comixology. No one else is coming out with the numbers, so you know what? I'm going to just say it.
Oh, you are?
No, I have no idea.
Son of a gun. I thought I was.
Yeah.
Son of a bee.
I know I am.
Yeah,
Chris, we got a lot of Marvel tentpoles coming out this year. What's the tie-ins that we should be looking for, or even better question, we should be sending people in to get?
I really think a good sleeper comic that you wouldn't think is a tie-in, but I think will be, is Marvel's War of the Realms event, which starts in April.
Oh yeah.
It is the Dark Elf Malekith, who is in Thor: The Dark World. Like, it was a bad movie, but the character is actually really, really good. In the comics, he's conquered 9 of the 10 realms, including Asgard, and now he's coming to Earth. And Thor, who is without his hammer, is now trying to face them down with the Avengers and an odd assortment of characters like Squirrel Girl, Daredevil, who now has cosmic sight from Heimdall, and some other interesting characters. I think that's going to be a really tight series. They're doing that bi-monthly, which is twice a month, starting in April.
Who's writing that? Is it Jason Aaron?
That is,
that's
Jason
it.
Aaron. He's been building
That's it.
towards this since he started on the Thor run about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, Jason Aaron's fantastic.
He's, it's so it's actually a great segue into the next question though too, is the fact that who are the creators we need to be watching? I know a fan of the show who we're trying to get him on a bunch of times is Matthew Rosenberg. He's been doing a lot of great stuff with X-Men. Cullen Bunn to me blew his X-Men out of the water last year though, or not blew Matthew's X-Men, but like just blew X-Men out of the water. He was amazing. His X-Men Blue was amazing. What are the names we need to be looking at?
It comes on several different levels. At Marvel, some people would always say that he's already made it. It was Donny Cates who became the fame writing Thanos. He has a new Guardians of the Galaxy series launching next week. He's been doing great work. He does Venom for Marvel, which is the best Venom book that's been out in years, and he also still does creator-owned work like Baby Teeth, which everyone should check out. On kind of like outside the big two, there's a lot of great work. There's an artist named Caspar Winjard who's doing Peter Cannon's Thunderbolt series that comes out January 30th. Okay. The writer on that is Kieran Gillen. It is like for anybody that's read or seen The Watchmen, the character of Ozymandias is based on an older character called Peter Cannon. So now Caspar and Kieran are basically reimagining this hero for modern audiences, and they're being inspired by things like Warren Ellis's Authority, New X-Men by Grant Morrison, and more recent superhero work. And it's really kind of a revisionist superhero story with really great art from Caspar that I think is going to really kind of surprise people when it comes out on January 30th.
Watchmen has been revered as the graphic novel of all time. What's been there's a difference between fan response and sales response to the Doomsday Clock to continuing that story and to now having it be like an HBO show. I mean, what are you hearing in your circles?
I'm deep into the comics community. Some people are kind of disappointed with the delays that have happened, unfortunately, with the series. Originally the 12-issue series was supposed to end last year, but there's been a series of delays. But they've kept with the same writer and artist, which will help it when the book actually finishes. But I think some of the delays have kind of hampered people's enjoyment of it. But I think once it comes out, it'll stand up. I think this will be more positively received than before Watchmen. Is when I'm interested about how the HBO series happened, because that's not, they say it's not a sequel, but it's a continuation, and I'm just interested to see really what the actual story is, because right now there's just a bunch of questions and people are kind of filling in the blanks on what they are want it to be or what they fear it to be. I'm actually just want to find out what it actually is.
So we have a story later in Spin the Racks that Captain Marvel is one of the top-selling Fandango pre-sales that's going on. What's the buzz around Captain Marvel in the comics universe right now?
Right now, about 2 weeks ago, they launched a new Captain Marvel series with Kelly Thompson and Carmen Carnero. I've read the first issue, so I have a lot of people. It's been really great. It kind of blends what people know from the Kelly Sue DeConnick runs with what people are seeing about the movie promotions, but it also digs deeper and goes back into the Chris Claremont Miss Marvel runs, the period where Carol Danvers was part of the X-Men. I know X-Men fans will remember when she was
Rogue
inside the mind of Rogue, and that's how Rogue originally got her flying powers, was from basically touching Carol Danvers too long. But all that is kind of looped into this story, without being this really heavy continuity deep thing. Like casual people can pick it up, but it has a lot of deep cuts that I think longtime fans will really appreciate.
See, how good is Chris Arrant? I ask a question, and he's just got this.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's like we planned this or something.
Yeah.
Where does Wailing Blade fall in your must-read comics of 2019?
Say number one.
I have the artist of Wailing Blade, Mr. Joe Mulvey, right here.
I will admit, I am a art snob when it comes to comics. Some people read the comics more for the story, and I want to break down, spoiler, this happens. But I'm an art snob, and I really appreciate well-drawn comics. And with Wailing Blade, that's kind of the right kind of comic for me. From what I've basically seen so far, the art's been really great. So I'm really excited to read the whole issue, and I'm probably going to bug Joe for it after we get off the air today.
I will be in touch.
Find the meanest SOB in the room and make friends with him.
So that's a 1A.
I got sold out.
He says 1A. Something about War of the Realms and something. What was his name? Door with a hammer, and then there's Wailing Blade with the Wailing Blade.
There you go, Chris. All right, we got about a minute to go. Give me the non-Big Two comic that we need to be reading. The indie comic that you think is sorely underrated, but is good and set to make a good splash in 2019.
I can't tell you if it's indie or not, but Raina Telgemeier is coming out with a new book called Guts. She's outside the comic store. She's probably the biggest selling cartoonist in modern times. She has 2 new books coming out, but Guts is really going to be the one that I think is going to surprise people, and the people that are listening to this that are comics fans. You'll probably have casual friends and family that are reading this book and asking you about it. But this would also be a good gift for friends and family that aren't into comics, but you want to kind of give them a hand up to get into comics. This would be one that you want to buy and give out probably this fall, this Christmas.
I will tell you this right now. I was in Barnes & Noble's today with my 4-year-old, and we were looking for books, and I had just gotten, what is it, Hilda? That's like a Netflix series for my older daughter who's 7. I wanted to get a Raina book because I'm a huge fan of hers. And literally, Barnes & Noble's, they were like, "Oh, we only have a few. We're sold out on all these other things."
Wow!
If people don't know who Raina is, she's a phenomenal storyteller, and she's massive. She's like, it blows my mind when people don't know her because she's just a massive talent and huge following.
Wow! Chris Arrant,
and there's a new Hilda book coming out this year too. I want to sneak that in. Luke Pearson, Hilda and the Mountain King.
Excellent.
You feel free to sneak anything in on this
absolutely.
show. You are a solid guest, and we love having you on. Chris Arrant from Newsarama. Go check out newsarama.com for all the latest comic book news. When we come back, we go spinning the rack.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
The best designs for your life start at home. I'm David Thiergartner, interior designer and host of At Home. Listen live Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time as we talk to the very best professionals about interior design and the design that's all around us, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Introducing The Mainstream, created by Michael Dolce, Talent Caldwell, Tony Moy, and Darren Sanchez. It tells the story of an interdimensional police force, polices alternate realities, keeps bad guys from other worlds from getting into ours. Issue 5 in stores now. Order it at your local comic book store or go to mikebooks.com/store.
.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
I had a ticket bought for me by an enthusiastic friend. No.
Did you know that friend now asked me to go?
So does that mean I don't have a ticket anymore?
This is correct. I actually passed it on to Sam. So now Sam is going with your friend.
With my friend.
To the show.
Well, now I have a lot to say about this. And none of it's good.
Secrets of the Sire.
like I'm in front of Congress with the microphone. I'm like, yeah.
Talking to the mic.
I did not exhale. Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire, talking comics, movies, TV, and pop culture. I want to thank our call-in guest, Mr. Chris Arrant from Newsarama.
Well done.
Seriously, though, we've had many guests on. They talk about many different things. Some people are prepared and ready to go, like Mr. Arrant. Some have not been. So
like myself.
I thought that was. I thought
actually,
every week.
Here's the funny part too. We've had him on before, and I realized his name is Chris Arrant. He corrected me last time. He's like, it's Arrant. It's not Arrant. But I think Arrant sounds better.
Because you did that French thing before.
I think Arrant is.
You did that French thing, and now all of a sudden everything's
there
gotta
right
be.
now. Going,
Your name is Arrant from now. I told you Brian Everham, our super fan, redeemed himself with some comments. Can we get a soundbite of Hassan shouting, "I liked the Shocker"?
What's wrong with liking the Shocker?
Nothing at all. A lot of people
get your head out of the gutter.
And then another soundbite. I'm just going to ease it in there.
Right. You walked right on that. You saw the landmine.
You know what? Where would any of you be without me?
I agree. I agree. I think we got nothing. And you are also the lead vocalist on our next segment, where we bring you the most fantastical news in pop culture.
Okay, this is Oh, it's the hat. It's the wah wah. Like that shit. So dynamic. It's like
that was my favorite song as a kid.
That was your favorite song?
And that's my favorite song now.
Spill the wine. Spill that wine. Did that. Never mind.
All right, we're going to karaoke after that. I don't know.
All right, Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is back.
No,
Ghostbusters Resurrected.
No,
Jason
Ghostbusters
Reitman
is not back.
will direct a new film set in the original universe. This broke literally last night when I was at the bar. Somebody texted me, and he's like, are you going to... yeah, we lost our championship game last night. I'm very upset about that.
I'm sorry. That's too bad.
Yeah, it was. It was. But they bought us drinks after, so I'm okay with that,
delicious.
Do you believe in UFOs, astral projection, mental telepathy, ESP clairvoyance, spirit photography, telekinetic movement, full trance mediums, the Loch Ness Monster, and the theory of Atlantis?
Oh, you're so clever.
If so, good news. There's a new Ghostbusters movie in the works. Unlike the 2016 all-female cast, this will take place in the Ghostbusters continuity. It's a little too soon to know what's going on, but Jason Reitman, the son of director Ivan Reitman, will direct and co-write the upcoming film.
They're actually going to get Bill Murray to be in this movie?
You know, Bill Murray is like such an enigma. You know, he has no agent. You literally have to leave a voicemail. I'm not even joking this. You have to leave a voicemail and just hope that he shows up. I'm not even kidding. Like that's
voicemail,
how he does
hope he shows up.
You really do. He has a home phone number, which actually used to be in Rockland County, where I lived, or I live. And
Darren used to. Darren
he's
used
not
to
up there
have
anymore.
Little League.
I think he sold his. Right? I think he sold his place.
Darren's kids used to be in Little League with his kids. I think.
If you do an aerial shot of his pool, it's got the giant Chicago Cubs logo at the bottom.
He does love himself some
Chicago. But yeah. So I don't know. Or whether the original actors like Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, or Bill Murray will return.
They have to, because like, what would be the point? What would be the point?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And I mean, they waited so long that Harold Ramis is dead, so that kind of kiboshes a lot of the goodwill.
You think he could be a ghost?
I was just going to say, is it bad taste?
It's not going to be him. Doesn't matter if he's going to be a ghost.
You could digitize anybody now, though.
I mean, you could compile.
We're talking about this, right?
Compile. Well, first of all, you could actually...
Look, I will say right now, I will say this right now, here. That would be a disaster.
You think so?
That will kill the whole thing. That would be a disaster.
I think it will, too, because it's a distraction, right? It would pull
it would
you
be
out.
A disaster.
It would totally pull you out. Unless it was literally...
Rogue One got some goodwill with Tarkin, right? But that's because nobody knew about it. Peter Cushing wasn't like a household kind of beloved... You know, for our era, for our generation. Harold Ramis, it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Completely.
It all depends on, is it going to be a Princess Leia cameo, or is it going to be a you know...
I think with the son directing, you have to have some... I mean, he's either got to be the onus for the story.
I'm sure there'd be a reference to him, but I think if they do anything other than acknowledge that he has passed on, it's in poor taste.
I mean, what if you had like an outtake?
You gotta be really delicate with this.
That you could ghostify and just put him in the background somewhere.
2016,
where it's like a quick
no,
and then it's Igor, Egon and Slimer just hanging out
because
Slimer's
already John Belushi. Okay.
Oh yeah, right.
That was their. So I mean, they've already kind of done that. But
that's such.
Listen,
an Easter
one
egg,
of the
though. Not
one of
most
the
people even
main
realize
problems with 2016, other than the fact that it wasn't funny, it was marketed off the rails, right? One of the main problems is Ghostbusters is a sacred thing.
Sure,
a lot of people cherish that franchise. If you go in there to try to reboot it and a lot of it's going to be fan service, the goodwill of the fans is going to be number one priority for this product. If you go in there and you start giving them the impression that you're gonna, go will-nil with various characters and stuff like that and mess up the tradition of Ghostbusters, you're gonna be.
What
in
is
serious
will-nil
trouble.
to you though? Like, let's just say this. Let's say he dies, and they're going and they're meeting at his funeral, and they haven't seen each other in a while. Can he be used in any way? Because I don't think that's disrespectful.
I don't think that's disrespectful.
That's not disrespectful at all. If he's
how be used? I mean, when you say how can he be used, what are you talking about?
Could he be used as any aspect of the story?
I'm saying they can acknowledge that he has passed on. They could talk about him. They can acknowledge he's passed on. Anything beyond that, as I said before, is going to be in poor taste.
So if I say to you,
we'll tank it.
Not Vancouver. What was his name in it? Spengler?
Egon.
Spengler, yeah.
So Egon's dead.
Spengler.
They all come together. They haven't seen each other
Darth
in years.
Vader.
And that's the start of how they reunite. Acceptable or not
That's
acceptable?
fine.
Okay.
But if he's the ghost and he's hovering behind them and he's making jokes,
I'm telling you, quick cameo, Ghost Egon. You could easily do that.
Oh, you could, and I'm telling you right now,
and that would work.
I'm going to stay for after the credits in case anything happens, but
it would depend on how you did it.
To
It would
his
totally
credit,
depend on
that's
how
why
you
they
do it.
stopped, I think, Ocean's 14 or 13 or whatever one it was going to be. When Bernie Mac passed,
Oh yeah.
they made a script where they were writing it where it was like one of them got together, like Al Pacino's character, Andy Garcia's, and killed Bernie Mac, and then the rest of the crew was getting together to go back and get him, and then I guess a lot of the cast were like, nope, we're not doing it.
Yeah. Look, it's a fine line. Death is a fine line in terms of what you can do.
Death is the end, my friend.
No, but that's the problem. See,
Or
years ago
is
you
it
could
the
say that.
beginning?
But now, Flatliners, go check out that shit. No, that's the problem with the technology now is you can literally do anything. You can bring them back.
What's the line?
But that's what I'm saying.
You're so caught up with whether you can, you didn't think that whether you should. I'm telling you that whatever this is, it has to it walks such a fine line.
Yeah.
It has to so ingratiate itself with the fans in order for it to work.
Yeah.
Because it's not even Ivan Reitman. It's going to be the son of Ivan Reitman. There's so many
But
potential.
there's a legacy to it. He even said it too. He says, "I've always thought of myself
doesn't
as the
matter.
first Ghostbusters fan." When he was 6 years old visiting the set, I think
sequels with the exact same crew, cast and crew have very little goodwill.
Yeah.
Sequels, next generation sequels that are supposed to be reboots, pandering, stuff like that. They have razor thin.
Well, I agree with that.
Thin.
Didn't you just see was that real, the trailer that came out of like going into the barn?
Yeah.
Okay, so that snippet right there already had more of the vibe and feeling of Ghostbusters
Well, it had the music.
than that entire
It had the
last
music.
one. No, but it had that also that like atmosphere of a little bit spooky, a little bit dark, but overtone with comedy. I'll be honest with you, the last one came out, I was all in. I was like, this is a stellar cast of comedians. I think this is going to be great. Paul Feig was directing. I'm like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Maybe the budget got too big and it was just weird. And,
No,
and
it
whatever.
wasn't funny.
It
That was
wasn't
the only
funny.
problem with
They
it.
didn't use the talent that they had.
Yeah.
There. And they
they didn't let them do their own jokes. They didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
And they also made the mistake of not of officially rebooting the series. Which,
instead of
which
making
was,
a
which was a slap in the
continuation.
face. It was
If
a
they
slap
had
in the
made it a
face.
continuation, they could have had the others. I mean,
Yeah.
you already had Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And you already had them show up in it. All you
Yeah.
had to do was say this is a continuation of
Yeah.
it, and you would have
Remember
been.
that thing that happened 30 years ago?
Yeah,
Oh,
you would've-
that didn't happen. That was a
Yeah,
hoax.
right.
You'd have
Boom,
been halfway
done.
home.
2 seconds. No, it's not a hoax. Boom, you're done. And then then there's homage, and you carry it on. All right. I think I did this one. Oh yes, I did, which is fantastic. The Kylo Ren. Oh, we knew we had to get something in this. Adam Driver knew Kylo Ren's Star Wars 9 story arc from the start. Adam Driver reveals he's known where Kylo Ren's story was heading and used that information as a guide as he now acts in Star Wars Episode 9. He basically said, one piece of information of where it was all going, and that's where it has been in my head for a long time, and the things it was building towards. So
what's the one piece of information?
he wouldn't say what the one piece of information was. He was very coy about that. So I guess my question is, do we believe him? Do we believe him? Is that lip service? Because one of the major complaints was that there's no plan.
I'll say this: as The Last Jedi was the best Star Wars film, I think he has credit
You didn't even see the originals. How do you?
I have seen them now. I have seen them. I have seen them all, including the prequels and Phantom Menace and a Jamaican Fishman running around. I've seen it all. And I tell you this right now.
For a second, it sounded like you said it was the best Star Wars movie ever.
Oh, I did. It was. You have to let it die, Hassan. You have to let it die. Your hate. Best Star Wars, and I'll even say this: best Star Trek film too. Throw them both in.
Oh, the hat! The hat's on too tight.
Did them both.
That hat. You got to take that hat off, man. Get some ear to the brain.
It's the best. No, it's not. It is. No, it's not. Hands down. Hands down.
Is it really?
Is it just all right?
All right. When we come back, which will be next week.
Yeah, Adam Driver
I
loses.
want to thank Joe Mulvey.
That's where story's
I want to thank
going.
Chris Arrant. We've got some super secret Netflix guests coming on next week. They're going to be in studio talking about their new show. Who is it? What's it about? Tune in next week.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.